Morning, Mike.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
So if you had to do like a big picture trade deadline analysis, did it go as expected, better than expected? What did you think?
I think I would grade it a little better than expected. I thought, we weren't expecting that early Harvey deal that netted us the draft pick and a top six prospect for us. So I think that was kind of the jump start of the trade deadline. So with that deal, that was kind of unexpected. I think that I think we did very well in the deadline.
So, as I told you, I think a few weeks ago when we were talking about possible guys going, I like Lane Thomas. I would text you that every now and then. I think he's a good player. And I was kind of hoping you would keep him. You get 3 prospects from Cleveland for him. Kind of talk about the thinking behind dealing Lane Thomas, who I thought could be somebody that could be in the future in the outfield. I know he's 28. He's not 19 or 20. But good player. But you get 3 players for him. And you get a 19-year-old left-handed pitcher, this kid Clemmy. You get Rafael Ramirez Jr., and you get a third baseman, Jose Tena. So talk about the thought process of dealing Lane and the kids coming back.
Well, Lane's a terrific player for us. Last year he was all-star quality at the all-star break. Probably could have made the team, maybe should have made the team. This year, dominating the lefties again, and playing good outfield. He's got a cannon for an arm. He's stealing bases. He's a leader in the clubhouse and just an all-around American boy. You know what I mean? He's a great kid and did a lot of good things for the organization, and we'll miss him. But when you think about the trade deadline, you think about what you have at the big league level, where your deficiencies are in the minor league level, and what you need to do to become a championship caliber club. We saw Lane being probably at his apex of his trade value. More trade value this year for Lane Thomas than there was last year for some reason, even with more control last year. But so with that said, we had a market value in our mind for what we would do Lane for, and it bounced around a lot of different teams, and there was a lot of interest and a lot of action with them with the contenders, and you package in the fact that that we've got some outfielders that are close to the big leagues that will impact the team in the very near future. We thought that it was a deal that we couldn't pass up at this time. And Alex Clemmy was a high draft choice. We loved him in the draft last year. We just couldn't get him. He's a big 6'6" left-hander that throws 95, 96 with a good slider, a changeup that's on the come, and this guy's got a ceiling to be, really good, rotation in front of the rotations, starting pitcher, and Jose Tena is a guy that plays shortstop. He's a terrific shortstop. He can play third. He can play second. He's got some pop. He runs really well. He's a tooled-up guy that's got some power. I think he's got about 18, 19 home runs in the minor leagues this year. 23 years old, so he gives us immediate help at the upper minor leagues and big league level. And Rafi Ramirez Jr. is the son of a scout and ex-player, and is a guy that comes highly touted by our scouts, who's having a little bit of a down year. But we see great things for him. So you package all that together, and you come to the conclusion that it's this package. It makes sense for us to move a good player like Lane Thomas, and so that's kind of the thought process that goes into that.
Mm-hmm. Talking to Mike Rizzo, Nats GM. So how should fans think about the future of the outfield? Right. So you got James Wood is up. You drafted Dylan Cruz super high, so people expect eventually he's going to be part of the outfield. But what's the future of the outfield look like here in DC?
We're very, we're prospect heavy in the outfield. We've got a lot of good outfielders that are coming. Some that you mentioned, everyone knows Cruz and James Wood, and Young is a young kid in the big leagues already, but you've got Dylan Lyle, you got Hassel, you've got a lot of people that are prospects that play the outfield. So I can't really tell you who's gonna win out in the future to play in the outfield. I think I'm comfortable saying it's going to be an impactful outfield when we figure out who it is, and I think that it's going to be a strong part of our organization is our outfield play. So we're excited about it, and with the additional prospects we brought in, and with the extremely strong drafts that we've had the last 3 or 4 seasons, we're looking at a system that's has really grown in impact possibilities, and the good thing about it is that these prospects are finally getting to the upper minor leagues and filtered into the big leagues, which will continue.
Mike, take us in the war room for a minute for those last 20 or 30 minutes leading to the trade of Dylan Floro to the D-backs. How much time was actually left before the deadline when you consummated the deal? And how common is it to take a deal to those last few minutes before the deadline?
Well, I think it's very common, and we've done it the last couple of deadlines. It's I think that it's it's all a part of. First of all, when we say last minute deals, we've been talking to these teams for days or hours leading up to this last minute. You just finally get the team to commit to what your deal wants to be, or you commit to what their deal is, or there's something in between that finally gets it done. And we felt that Andreas was something that we do lack in the minor league system. He's a corner guy with big power that can play third and first, and really swings the bat really well, and is a guy that we're excited to take a look at. He's a 25-year-old guy that got 19 home runs in AAA and really swings the bat well, and gives us a potential power bat at the corner. So it came late in the trade deadline day, but we had talked to Arizona previously about several different things, and this is the one we landed on.
Mike, I don't know if you can answer this, but were there any other players that other teams really wanted and you were maybe close to a deal and it just kind of fell apart, or you weren't willing to deal?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of players who weren't willing to deal. I know, guys that are part of our, part of the long-term process here. We certainly didn't take any calls on our young starting pitching. We didn't take, and if we did, we kind of dismissed it right away. That we're not moving Gore or Parker or Hers or any or Urban or any of those young kids. I think teams recognize that and kind of stay away from those guys. They know the position we're in, because we all state where we're at, what our goals are at the deadline, and I think that teams respect that. So and there was some there's a lot of interesting players for us. So they there was a lot of interesting asks and some good ideas, and we bounced a few off some other teams, and kind of landed on these the four players that we traded were the ones that were made the most sense for us in our long-term plans.
I've never counted until this year, Mike. I've never counted the amount of players that were dealt. Okay. And maybe this is normal. For some reason, I was hearing guys being dealt, every 5 minutes. So I went and counted from July 3rd until yesterday at the end of the deadline. 100, and this includes prospects and players to be named later, 178 players were traded in 28 days. Does that sound like a big number to you? It just seemed like there was a lot of deals, over the last, 18 hours.
Yeah, I think that I think that would be fairly normal.
Okay.
I always feel that there's always a run on on certain positions in certain seasons. You're always every team that's in contention. They like to go to their clubhouse and show that they're trying and pick up a player. So there's a lot of relievers that get moved around, and for a couple of prospects each and that type of thing. And I think that that's what you saw at least late yesterday was there was a bevy of relief pitchers that were moving around and getting a couple of players each for them. So it was it's typically busy. It's typically busy late in the draft because deadlines are made for a reason, because it's if you want to move the player or if you need to get a player, it's it's kind of put up or shut up at that time. And I think that it brings a lot of excitement in the war room. I know that, and I think it's good for the fan base because it's a day that people are kind of are tuned in to the media and seeing what your favorite team did where.
Are you currently in Arizona?
No, we always lock down in the offices at the
Gotcha.
Trade deadline.
Can you just kind of talk about, the last two nights against the D-backs were just, oh man, it was rough, especially the game where Finn just gave up the 5 runs and then 17-0 last night. Feels like it kind of snowballed from the 9th inning 2 nights ago until last night.
Yeah, last night was a blowout. We got our ass beat. So that one is I think that one is showered off way easier than giving a 4 in the 9th. At least I'm speaking personally there. To me, the 9th inning loss was way tougher than getting blown out 17-0. That's my opinion, just because of the way you lose the game. And blowouts happen, and so I usually just if you wash that off and you go on to the next day. The ninth inning loss is a rough one. That's the one that
right.
You're expecting to win that one, and then you turn around 10 minutes later and you're walking off the field disappointed. So there's a game this afternoon. We've got you play. The good thing about this sport is you play every day. You don't have to wait. You don't have to wait a week to get back on the football field, or 3 or 4 days to get on the basketball court. You play every day. You're going to have your. It's a roller coaster ride. It's very, very few years is it linear from the start to the finish. So we've been. I've been here before where you've taken your lumps, or you're taking that. You've got a tough part of the schedule, and this is one of them. We went into this road trip. It's a tough road trip. Cardinals were hot. D-backs are playing good baseball, and you go into St. Louis. You win 2 straight there. You could have and should have won the 3rd game and sweep them, and you should have won. You should have won in Arizona. So that's kind of the way I look at it. We were, we're in every game except for last night, but we're in every game, and it gives us a chance to win. And these are learning days for these young kids. You got to learn how to win those games. You got to learn how to tack on when when you're winning 8-2. You got to learn how to tack on and make it 10-2, and don't put it in question. And with experience and repetition, I think that these guys are figuring it out, and will be better for it in the long run.
Talking to Mike Rizzo, Nats GM, a question we get a lot from fans is, when is this team going to start winning? You guys won the World Series in 2019. In all likelihood, this is going to be the 5th straight season with the losing record. We get it. You've come on this show a couple years ago and said, I've done this before, rebuilt it, built up a farm system, and then we get to winning. How close is this team?
I think you see the light at the end of the tunnel. I think anybody who has watched the team, closely and critiqued us, I think that they see that we're getting close. I think that it's when you have emerging young starters and emerging core group of young players and more on the way. I think that you supplement that with some astute free agent signings, and you're right in it. I mean, there's different ways to do these rebuilds, and we've all seen it. Some teams are perpetually rebuilding, and that's not us. We rebuilt once, had 8-9 years of success, and we're rebuilding again. But in that time, don't forget we've won four divisions and a wild card championship and a world championship that a lot of other teams rebuilding can't say. And when you look at where we were and where we're going, I think there's a lot of similarities of the two rebuilds. So I think that the people who are paying attention, who know where we're at, see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I think that when you look at what the minor league system looks like and what the big league club looks like with the youth and that type of thing, I think that you can, you draw your own opinions and conclusions of where we're at. But I think that I see a lot of similarities of what we did in the past.
All right, Mike, good stuff. It's Mike Rizzo, present GM of the Nationals. We'll talk to you next week.
See you, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
Yep. Thank you, Mike.